Hey, YouTube. How y'all doing? I should say good evening, Saints. Okay, so I avoided the story for a day or so. I thought I would have avoided totally, mainly because I don't have children. I'm not a father. Children's. I don't have children. I'm not a father. Sometimes I feel like we just do too much when we're commenting on things we don't know anything about. I'm not a father, but I am a man. And from what I understand, both of these men were men. And these people, they kill me with this stuff. Oh my God, you said a bad word. You said a bad word. What is with the bad word shit? Is that the same as murder? What is with the bad word? Is that worse than lying? Is that worse than adultery? What is with the bad word stuff? This is church bullshit. It ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. I think the Bible mentioned one time in there about people using harsh language. So of course they take that out there and then they add it to their religion and they make like this is the standard of the way people talk. It's not the standard of the way people talk. It may be the standard of the way people would talk in church, and it certainly would be the standard of the way people would talk on their job. This is the standard of the way people would talk at school. I mean, there are different. I mean, what's the word? I'm losing my words. You're a pet parent. You're a pet parent. Okay. Yeah, I don't cuss the Queenie out. Anyway, I get on my nerves with some of this stuff that people call religion. Religion and Christianity, they're two separate things. Christian, I'm a Christian. I believe in the story of the Christ. I give my faith and I count on this Christ for my salvation. I believe he died on the cross. When I pray in the name of Jesus Christ. That's a Christian. It ain't complicated, honey. Do you accept Christ as your Savior? I do. All this other stuff they pile on there, child. It's so unnecessary. And as time goes on, we see how little it is necessary. The words they say on television today, they didn't say when I was coming up. And did it make a difference? No. Well, we all still stuck on the B. Always in the B word, the B word. Girl, it's just colorful language to me. So because this dude cussed his boy out, I don't see the problem. The only problem I can see in the whole situation is this dude went and recorded his father, who he knows makes a living in Christendom, and made that public to try to destroy his father. That's the only sin I see, honey. As far as him saying a couple of cuss words, girl, is that worse than, honey, most of us have been beaten with extension cords. You understand? I don't see it as being a very big deal, but somehow or other is a very big deal in the news the last couple of days. So finally I said, okay, I don't have no kids, but I can speak on this thing here about this religious stuff. What is religion anyway? If you do this, God loves you more. If you do that, then God loves you more. If you do that, then God loves you. All of these things, the do's and don'ts kind of stuff, right? And is God really sitting up here saying, oh, he said a bad word? Oh, girl. I mean, listen. I don't think that colorful language, there's anything wrong with colorful language in the right context, right place. On here, everybody cusses. If they don't cuss, I find them boring. It's just colorful language. It's expressive language, honey. No, we wouldn't expect Kirk Franklin to go on the stage and say those kind of words. No, he shouldn't say them when he's in church. No, she shouldn't say them when he's at work. No, she shouldn't say them when he's in a business meeting. No, she shouldn't say it here and there and there and there and there. But in the privacy of his own home, when he thinks he's talking to his own son, a son who has been problematic, and I think this is just me now. Did y'all see the movie The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston? The Bodyguard, Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. He was her bodyguard, right? And there was somebody out there that wanted to kill Whitney Houston. And at the end of the movie, we find out that the person who wanted to kill her was her own sister. Why? Because she was jealous. So this is just me. I think there could be a lot of jealousy going on here in this situation with this boy and his father. Now, we don't know what the situation, who's been sent to jail, who smokes dope. We don't know all that kind of stuff. We don't know all the things that have been so problematic in their relationship. But I can guess that boy is very jealous of his father, because why would he try to destroy his father's career? He could have hurt him in a dozen other ways. But no, he wanted to go for his career because he knows how church people are. And they believe that there's a curse word or something. Oh, my God. Did you say damn? Oh, when you're in church, the pastor says, damn. And oh, like God's going to send down lightning bolts because you said damn. And the damn words change every 20 years. Or what you call it bad. Well, what makes them bad? We decide what words are bad. There were no bad words in the Bible. They said damn. They said hell. Anyway, what I was saying was, I imagine if you have a very famous father who's made his mark, right? Then for the kids to come up, now what are they going to do? You see where I'm going? How are they going to make their mark? And their father is famous. Here I am. I'm at the top echelon in gospel music. And the kids in there, he's in the studio trying to crank out something and ain't nothing working. And there's nobody listening. Don't hear it, right? Of course he's jealous of his father. Why would he come for his career? It's crazy. Think about all these damn people out here who don't got no fathers. I'll speak. Hey, glory. I can attest to that. They don't have no father. They ain't got nobody else helping with the bills. Mama's doing everything, right? This boy was brought up in the lap of luxury. Now, maybe when he was a young boy, his daddy wasn't making the Bitcoin yet, but I would imagine they lived pretty good. Now, I don't know if this has been two separate families he's had or how that works. He has an older son, he said, but the boy is 33 years old, right? You should take pride in being on your own at this point, at 33, right? You shouldn't be expecting your father to fix you at 33 years old, in my opinion. Leave your father and go and find you a woman, honey, and you make your own family. At that point, 33 is pretty, that's not young. Hey, people, how y'all? I don't mean to ignore nobody. Hi, Primo Wanda, Princess A, Rainy Boo, Elaine, Rhonda McGee. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? You're a pet parent. Get your ass over there. Oh, I'm sorry, Squeenie. I'm sorry. I can never yell at my baby. I think he can tell. He can tell. But when I'm calling him at the door or something, I'll say, I'll just make a noise like that, and he'll come running. I'm good to my baby. But I can well imagine what it must feel like where you have a child, somebody that you done sacrifice for, and you have to sacrifice just the nature of being a parent. Just the fact that you are 33 years old and you still have a father in your life. You still have a parent. Most of us, a whole lot of us, don't have none and never had one. Right? So Carry On is his name. You are the only villain I see here, honey. I don't know how you feel about it. Only thing I see wrong here is you taping your father cussing and then broadcasting that, knowing that could hurt his career. That tells me you're jealous of what? The career. You're trying to figure out how you're gonna make your mark. Your father is Kirk Franklin. Right? So part of you loves him, and there may be a part in there that really hates him. At the very least, resents him. My opinion. Hello, people. Jessica Carter, how you doing? I saw an interesting interview for YouTubers. Funky Dinevas over there with Lonnie B. And they're having over an hour, like an hour and a half interview. Very informative about what his experience was with this YouTube thing, because he's one of the big YouTubers, and he has managed to avoid the beef sector because he could have easily detoured and ended up over here, right? But no, he chose to go the celebrity route, and he is a proof that there's you can make a good living here if you want to go that route, right? So he's telling them about his experience, And I guess the benefit he has over someone like, say, most of us is he really likes this celebrity gossip kind of thing. That's his stick, right? So he still, even to this day, after 11 years, he is still doing celebrity reality show interviews. He does regular interviews and reality show, but it's proven to be very profitable for him. So he's built himself a name. So I think it's worth watching. It's on Lonnie B's. I think it's called, what's it called? I think I wrote it down. I think it's called Chat with Lonnie. Yeah, Chat with Lonnie. Funky Dineva. Let's look at this. I wrote down a couple of things. I said, well, maybe I should review this. And then I said, well, do people review interviews? Whatever. Okay, how he came to become Funky Dineva. Started as an accountant. So he gave us the whole history. Most of us who've been around for a while knows his history. But it was refreshing to hear him kind of lay it out exactly how it happened. How he was working as an accountant and how he didn't like his job. He was eventually fired from his job. That's what I love when people are honest, because he don't got to tell us he was fired from his job. He could come on and say, I left my job, whatever. But this is a strong suit for me. I like when people tell the truth. People are transparent. Okay, he was fired. When he first made his first video, he made $33. I remember that clearly because I thought I had made money on YouTube. And when I got my first, I expected my first check, it did not meet the threshold. The threshold is $100. If you don't make $100, they don't pay you anything. That carries on to the next month, right? I had to go through a couple of months before I understood, but they made it plain. You got to get $100. Okay, he talks about that. His career started popping after an interview with Love and Hip Hop Review. It was an interview or a review, but he got very popular after reviewing that show. See, I've never even seen Love and Hip Hop, any of the cities that it appears in. So he immediately tied into these reality shows. Okay, it was on VH1, so it was on television, a Love and Hip Hop reunion. Let me see. He talked about celebrities. I'm going to get back to Kirk in a minute. Okay. Y'all be patient. He talked about celebrities. He says it's not always what you tell. Sometimes it's what you don't tell. In other words, the people have to be able to trust you. He said he's in relationship business. They have to be able to trust you. You won't expose everything about their lives, things that they don't want to expose. Can I trust you enough to talk to you? Now, I know you're messy, but there's certain things that are messy and certain things that are just hurtful, right? So he went on to talk about the difference between funny and nasty. Funny and nasty. We can learn from this boy. We can learn from this young man named Funky Dineva. Because that's the problem we have here so often. Difference between funny and nasty, right? Some of the talk on this beef sector, it veers so often into nasty. It's not being funny anymore. The way some of these people go after Brianna, that's being nasty. It's not being funny. Nobody laughing but you. And the evil girls, the mean girls. The mean girls will laugh at jokes like that. I find it very, very distasteful. There's so many things to say out of your mouth. Anyway, just a couple more things here. Okay. Okay, so he said that, it was 6 or 7 years before he appeared as himself. I saw that interview. I think he was in New York City, up in a high rise or something like that. And he didn't feel secure to come on as himself, which is also revealing. Okay. The one thing I'll say to Funky Dineva is never say never. He says that he will never, ever leave the persona of Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva, what made him? She brought me to fame. I'll never leave her. Never, ever. You don't know what the future holds, man. Just like Tyler Perry, he thought he would never, ever leave Medea. Why would he? Medea made him a billionaire. Medea did things that huge stars were not doing. My lips look a little better. I started some new medication, and I know I've been looking brittle around here, people. Anyway, never say never, funky that neighbor. You don't know what you're going to do. You got to go with the flow. So I think he has pretty much come out of the dress. He puts it on, occasionally. But we don't know what's in front of us. Anyway, the man has made a great career. The Lonnie B guy, now I only saw him once on T.S. Madison, and he was so over the top. He was his energy level, like my energy level is like here, and his energy level is like there. So I've never been on the same level as far as the energy. It seems real wild to me. But he handled his interview very well. So I was impressed with the interview. I thought it was very thorough and informative. So I recommend it. Okay, back to our buddy Kirk Franklin. Love Kirk Franklin. When I first became aware of him, I thought that I said, why did they why is he at the top of the gospel music? He don't sing. Well, people had to explain to me what a producer was. What a producer, I don't know what they call the thing. He's not a choir director. He's I don't know. He's generally speaking, he's a writer, he's a producer, and he performs with his group. It does a lot of there's a word for that spoken thing. Y'all know? He has his persona and has to keep up. Okay. What's that word for the purpose person who they don't sing with the music, but they talk in the music? Right? He does that. What's that other guy? The one that just made a record with Leandria. I forget his name. They both do that, but there's a name for that. A lot of times people, praise and worship leaders would do that. They talk in the song. Anyway, he does that. He does rap. He does all kind of music kind of stuff. So I just think his son is jealous of him. He probably can't find his way. He probably can't support himself. More than likely, there's a money angle here as well, where he feel like his father should give him something else or whatever. You're famous, I'm struggling. Well, buddy, 33 is kind of, it's time to get out there. No matter how rich or poor your parents were, it's kind of time to be a man, honey. Anyway, and you might not make it in the same area as your father made it in. Maybe you won't be the next great gospel artist. Maybe your talents are somewhere else. You got to figure out what God gave you. God gave you talents as well. If you so focus on him, it's going to make it hard for you to find your own way. Let's see what y'all say. What do y'all think? I know I'm late. You'd be late with a story in a day. 2 days, the damn story's old. But I finally ran into Ricky Smiley. I don't remember where I ran into him at, but yeah, I agree with him. And he's somebody who raises children. So I don't know why Kirk's out there got to explain he uses cuss words. What the hell is that? Oh, I use a cuss word. Girl, I've been around Christian people. They all use cuss words. Soon they get in the car. Go out there and pretend. So if I can sing well, that means I'm not allowed to cuss. What is a cuss word? Who gets to determine what the cuss word is? I have some choice words that I consider cuss words, and a lot of them church people don't consider it a church word. That's the truth. You got to tell the truth. Girl, he ain't out there killing nobody, is he? His son is not accusing him of beating him with extension cords, which would not be an unusual story. We don't know. It's a private situation instead of stayed private. So all this son has done is revealed who he is. I don't think nobody's mad at, not really. I mean, you might find a few of these silly church people, but in general, and particularly people who have raised kids themselves, they know they're going to have moments, honey. There's a proper place and a time. The man thought he was having a private conversation with his own flesh and blood, with his son. How would he know he would tape the damn thing? And then when the man was cussing him out, the boy was laughing. You don't respect me. Don't ever respect me. I did. Ooh, what is that? Chapstick. Anyway, The boy was laughing. Okay, let's see how this works out for you then, since you want to laugh, right? I wonder how long it's going to take you to get something out of your father now. After this little stunt, what did you prove? You haven't brought nobody to your side. You revealed yourself to be what he describes. No telling what kind of lifestyle this boy has led because of his father. First of all, even having a father, then to having a very successful father. Sure, we know that there'll be problems. Of course, there are going to be problems, particularly if the person went off and started a different family. You're going to be jealous of the kids and everything else, but you can't let jealousy rule your life. I'm sure Kirk Franklin, when he was traveling, he probably traveled the whole damn year. You might only see him 2 or 3 times, but you got to get used to it, baby, because that's what celebrity is. You were raised in a house of a celebrity. Was your mom there? Was somebody there helping you out? I'm sure he was taking care of the financial end. You're blessed and highly favored, honey. Right? Somebody was paying the bills. Or maybe the kid wants him to keep on paying the bills. I've encountered people who are entitled. You would think that person, the more they get, the more happy they would be, right? But no, that's not the way it works at all. The more they get, the more they want. And the more nasty they become. I worked in Beverly Hills. Them were some of the nastiest goddamn people you ever want to meet in life. Just nasty people. And these are the people who have everything. They act a whole lot worse than the poor people. At least the poor people just cuss you out and let it be that. These people make you feel like a piece of shit. Anyway. How y'all doing today? You see. Hey, sugar, honey, iced tea. You keep changing the way you do your lettering. You're practicing? I am sugar, honey, iced tea. Excuse me. That's cussing right there. Some people would say. Angie Lee, what you got? Okay, you got headstands and dancers. All right. All right, Angie Lee. He has a persona. He has to, I don't think, first name, he has a persona he has to keep up. Okay. He was having a private conversation. It's like if you got kids, I'm talking to my daughter, or I'm talking to my son on the phone. Who would ever dream that son or daughter is recording this and they're going to make it public on YouTube and all over the world, all over the internet? So I am the trending story all over the United States. He has to keep up what? He never even cuss in the privacy of his own home. Why is so much emphasis put on cussing? There's so many other sins, honey. And is that a sin to say a bad word? Who determines what the bad word is? People, please don't get this religious stuff. I mean, I'm sure, I know it's a part of spirituality, but that's not God. You go in these buildings and you decide, oh, we don't do this. Oh, we don't say that. Oh, our skirts are long. Oh, you're not being modest. Oh, girl. I mean, I guess you get into these small groups and people in these communities, I guess they feel like it takes a village. They don't want to have a same idea. Everybody thinks the same thing. This is what we do. And a lot of these churches will tell you that. We don't do that. We don't believe that. We believe. How the hell we don't believe that? What do you believe? Pastor say, girl, those people are born to follow. I'll never tell you we don't believe that. No. Either I believe it or I don't believe it. Based on my own life experience. But they want this group think. Even control what words come out your mouth. And what comes out your pocketbook. Now, let me make this clear, people. Y'all have got to pull up your awareness, because every one of these pastors and some of these YouTubers knows that in the next week or so, you will be receiving $1,400 cash. And believe me, they will be making their pitch. Don't forget about God. Don't forget about God. Some of them, I've already seen them online, honey, already directly asking you, they want 10% of that. So you get $1,400, okay, that's giving me $140. In addition to what you already give me. Oh, and don't forget the tithe and the offering. What are you offering? And the school program, right? But be aware. People, do not sit up here and give all your money away talking about you supporting somebody. Because they got a check as well, more than likely. Them shysters going to get busy. They'll even come to your house. They said, oh, I'll wear my mask. I'll come over and pick it up. All you know is Kirk Franklin cursed out his son and people. Why are they outraged? He's a 33-year-old man. It ain't like he's abusing a child. This man should have been on his own for the last 10 years, 15 years. I'm sure Kirk probably paid for his education. It's time to go out and live now. Why are you trying to destroy your father? Why are you trying to kill the goose that laid the golden egg, as they say? That's the goose that laid the golden egg. So are you really going to bring your ass back to Kirk Franklin asking him for anything? I guess, I don't know if his boy's in the music industry or whatever. Apparently Kirk works with his younger people. But are you expecting favors now? What about all the people who work with Kirk Franklin who happen to think that he's a brilliant musician, producer, songwriter? They want to work with him. They like him. They feel that what you did was disrespectful to your father. How are you benefiting from this, boy? I mean, well, how are you benefiting? Oh, okay. Hey, S. Dukes. Hey, I got him. Ooh, I read him. I put that out there. I put it out there. Oh, he said, you would never disrespect me. He said, I did. You sound like a damn fool, dude. Then Kirk Franklin said he'd been taking him to therapy for years. So obviously the boy's got some problems. Maybe he's got some problems in maturity. We don't know. We were never supposed to know. Have your family, have a private. You have got a family with Kirk Franklin, a very famous man, honey. Work out your problems in your family. That is a special place where only you people who are in the family preside. It ain't only where the money resides, it's where your family resides. Right? What about all your family members who feel that you're a damn fool for doing what you did to try to destroy the goose that lays the golden eggs over and over and over and over again? Right? If God did not bless you with the same talents as your father, you have to accept that. And you can say, God, what is it? Maybe I got to go on a 5-year trek and try to figure out what the hell it is. Isn't that what you're supposed to do in college? Aren't you supposed to be trying to figure out what your strong suits are? We all have different talents, honey. I'm sure that man will be willing to support you if you know how to build houses. If you're an architect in your heart, then I'm sure he'd be able to support you around that. But you can't just force your way in demanding stuff. Your demanding days over at 18, honey. That's it. If they want to pay for your college, that's their option. How old is the son? 33. 33 years old. Still wanting to suck on the mom's tit. Let it go, buddy. I mean, I'm sure he struggles. He struggles. He's got a famous father. A father he probably doesn't even see that much. Or does Kirk Franklin have two families? I kind of got the impression he has a young family, and he from another relationship is where this guy, because this guy is older than his other kids. From what I can pull together, I just watched today. Ungrateful. Shit, I bet he probably done bought him cars, and he privileged. I remember my mama did the best she could. She was a single mother, but I got to give her credit. She couldn't afford to buy me a car, but every day after I was 16 years old, when she got home from work, she would give me the keys to her car. So essentially, I had a car. I was right there at the door waiting. And every day she gave me the keys, even if she was mad at me, she still gave me the keys to her car every day. She did the best she could, you know. I'm sure he had a whole lot better than that. Grateful, grateful, grateful. It's going to be a hard one to patch up. It could be that the boy got mental problems. If he's got mental problems, then his father's probably going to end up. Walter Lee Hampton point on Kirk. I have never, ever in my life been cussed out by my, what? Those of you who approve of that behavior. Girl, everybody think about the Walter Lee Hampton child. Walter Lee Hampton, he's constantly criticizing his mother for being a Christian, a Jehovah's Witness, right? So maybe it was because she was a Jehovah's Witness, Walter Lee Hampton. That's why you didn't get cussed out by your mom and dad, right? Your mom, at 33 years old, you are a grown-ass man, honey. I'm not paying your rent no more, okay? I paid it at 22, and I paid it at 25, and I paid it at 27, and I paid it when you got hooked up with that hooker. I know it was bad for you, but I still paid it. At some point, I'm going to stop paying your rent. Why? Not because I don't have the money, because I want you to learn how to fly. Like the bird, when they push the baby out of the nest, they're not trying to kill the bird. They want to see the bird fly. And so the bird has to fly. That's it. Am I right or wrong with that? I'm not going to be basing anything on the views of Walter Lee Hampton. Now, I'll give you and that brother, we have not beefed in years. He has his opinion, but I don't know what he's saying, that people who cuss people out have a serious mental issue. I would think the person who is posting private conversations to try to ruin their father's career because their father makes their career in Christendom, I would say that would be the person with the grave mental disturbance. He's the one who's been in therapy, not his father. Don't nobody hate the kid, but don't destroy nobody. Don't do it to your father. Don't do it for us, Fire Entertainment. Who in the hell are we? You got the whole damn internet talking about the situation with you and your father. Kirk Franklin, I think he's a decent guy. He has spoke well on issues of LGBTQ community and the way we've been bashed and discriminated against. I thought it was very good of him. And he's not a gay person himself at all. But he would speak up for what was right in the church. And he will on many issues on religion. He will speak up for what is right. We know that dude ain't perfect. I know all of you because I'll be hard pressed. Well, apparently not Walter Lee Hampton's parents, but other than that, those are old ideas, people. Old people think that way. It's just colorful language, child. You can use it sparingly, and it goes across all races. All races, they cuss. You watch movies about the royals, they cuss. If the royals can cuss, why can't you? I was brought up in the church so you can't say no bad word. I'd rather you not be out there stealing in the stores. And I'd rather you be faithful to your wife, not be out there becoming a cheat. I'd rather you not be on drugs. And I don't want you to kill nobody. There are so many things above a cuss word. You think the boy doesn't cuss? What is only Kirk Franklin? Is only he held to the standard? And what is this big standard with a gospel singer? A gospel singer is a singer. He's not no anointed vessel. He's a singer. He goes and he does his performance. As far as I know, I don't know that he's a preacher or pastor, but that wouldn't mean anything to me. How many of these preacher pastors in the last year have you caught? They caught with what they draws down, or caught in the bed with one of the people in the church? Scandal after scandal after scandal, and because we just can't accept that these people are just men. They speak well, they sing well, they perform in church, they have their church life, they have their spirit life, but that don't mean they stop being people. Right? The hell is a cuss word? Y'all really y'all must really be gonna send me to hell then. I like it if it's strategically used. Now I don't think people should just be able to just one after, just every word is a cuss word. But I think it is still a part of the English language. Cuss words, they are part of language. If you're gonna write a good book will have curse words. When I wrote my books, Epiphany, I was trying to find editor, right? And I went to this company, and I had two of these ladies. One of them was Jamaican lady, And I think another one was another country. Some other lady. They said they wouldn't review my book because it had cuss words in it. I said, what? I said, girl, I won't even read a book that don't have curse words in it. Not a modern book. Maybe an old book I might read had no curse words in it. This is who I am. This is my language. This is most people's language. Mm-hmm. He embarrassed himself, not his father. I got to read that. CEO, New York City. Walter Lee Hampton, point on Kirk. I have never ever. Why would your experience have anything to do with his experience? You have never ever been cussed out by your parents. But that's just you. That's your household. That ain't got absolutely nothing at all to do with his household. Right? We don't know where Kirk. A lot of people end up in church, honey. We don't start there. We have backgrounds, histories. We were brought up in hellacious homes. Black people like to put on a lot of airs these days. They're all brought up in holiness. Everybody holy, 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 holy. And you see what these clowns on here who claim that they were raised up in holiness. You see how they act. They ain't no different than nobody else. They just have the internet now. Kirk is a hype man. The gospel Flavor Fave. Okay. He's also, he writes most of that music too. He's also a writer, arranger, producer. I mean, he does it all. The only thing he doesn't really do is the singing. But then he has singers. Singers, I think with Kirk Franklin, singers are like other instruments. You got all your instruments in your band to make your music, and you have your singers. You have your background singers. And so he organized the whole thing. Donald Lawrence, thank you, baby. Thank you, Lady Steph. That's what I was thinking about. Donald Lawrence does the same thing. They're not really singers. I think their title would be producer. And there's a word for when you're talking along with the music too. Not rap. It's called ad-libbing. Ad-libbing? Okay. Ad-libbing. I thought ad-libbing was when you go on stage and you just make up scenes. The scenes just come and you just ad-lib where it's not written into the script. You add your own words in there. Fill in whatever. I would have cussed that motherfucker. Oh, excuse me. See, there I go. You're lucky he close enough to punch you in your goddamn head, honey. Snap out of it, boy. You're a grown man. Right. I'm sure a lot of these celebrities had it. They all identify with this stuff, man. I'm sure, and they have a lot of guilt because they're not home all the time if they're in industry where they have to constantly travel. So they probably feel guilty and they feel like, okay, I'll buy you a car because I've been gone so long. I think it makes it worse when you're trying to, overcompensate. But that's the life of a celebrity. It goes along with it, honey. If you want all of the riches you get and all the benefits you get from being a child of a celebrity, you got to accept what goes along with that. I'm sure all these people, all these singers who are constantly on the road. I mean, some of them go on tour for 2 years. Some of these rappers, R&B singers, stuff like that, they show you their beautiful houses, but they barely been in them. I saw many times on them cribs, I could tell the person never even been in the damn room. They can buy anything they want to buy, but they're not there. Right? You put somebody the wrong way, honey. You walk across the street in the crosswalk and let somebody step on the gas, honey, almost run you over. And let's see if you can cuss. You do the best for these kids. Take care of them. Guide them. Okay. Marsha Cleveland. Let's hear what you have to say, honey. You do the best for these kids. Take care of them. Guide them and give them a foundation. And they're so damn disrespectful. You've been through it, Marsha. I'll split mine's heads. Oh, girl. Don't split the head open, though. Everything I've given. Right. Kids don't even know what their parents go through or what kind of sacrifices they make. I remember I was sitting with I was a grown man. I went back home to visit. And my mother was sitting there with her best friend. They had been best friends since 12-year-olds, but they had remained friends. They're both in their 70s now. They remain friends. But I never knew that the one friend, my mother's best friend, who was married, many times she was lending my mother money. That's why we had to go over there to pick up something. She was lending her money just to get through the week. My mother always worked. She worked in the factory, but it was tough. You raise 3 kids on your own, you know. But I never knew she had a need even. She never even brought it up. I mean, we never discussed money or anything like that. All we know is the food was always there. We always had everything that we needed, you know. So for a period, she lived in the projects, whatever. She crawled her way out and she did her own thing. But it had to be hard by yourself. Glorious day, Tim Blaine. Have you thought about naming your followers the Squeenies? Martha have lambs. Oh, was it Myra have the lambs? Beyonce have B. Okay, Myra. Okay, you talking about Myra Carey? Have the lambs? Beyonce. I'm Beyonce. Okay. No, CEO. You guys, you like to look at me. It's fine. I don't need people. I don't need no club this, club that, and nations and all that. People trying to follow me and all. I don't need all this stuff. No, maybe those guys need all that. I don't. I'm just glad to see you here. They got the beehives. You can go ahead and say it, CEO. They got the club chats. They got the Babe Nations, and they got all the other ones. They have. I don't do all that. I'm an old guy, a CEO, New York City. So I think I see things a little different. I think it does make a difference. You know, while I was listening to Funky Daniva's interview, I was saying, well, if I were a younger person, I would probably be a more ambitious person. I probably invested time in getting fancy stuff for my site and see how far I could take this thing, right? But I don't really care about all that stuff. If a grown man is recording phone calls, that's his baggage, not Kirk's. I think Kirk comes out ahead of this. I think people respect him for a situation. And he even came back to explain what he's been through with this kid. Right? Y'all know about having badass kids. If you don't know your own home, you know your cousin, somebody's bad. I was a monster. Let me see. When we lived in the projects, I have become the primary thief in the whole damn projects. We would go on these, our project set in the middle of all white neighborhood on the edge of Indianapolis, right? So we had malls around us, right by the Indianapolis 500 track. But we would always go out and steal. I was a little gay kid. I didn't want them to know. I felt like if I made my mark as the primary thief, then I could still hang out with the people. I could still have friends. I could still hang out. It made me popular, right? So I was on my way to a very hellacious life. If she moved us out of the projects, I think I was 14 years old, my last year of grade school. Is that 14 or 13? Yeah. And so all the stealing, all the crimes and all that stuff, it all stopped. The moment we moved into a house in a suburban neighborhood, we were in a suburban black neighborhood, all my crime stopped. And I'd always been a little hooligan. So, of course, I picked up things later on, but it was much, much later on. I was not a problematic teenager at all. I always worked as a teenager. I was on my way. There was no father there. And when she was married, I mean, the dude was such a monster. I was ecstatic that he left. There was never a point like, I want a daddy. I want my father back. I want my daddy. No, nigga, go. I know I'm not the only one in that situation. He told Kirk to shut the fuck up. Laughing at him. Man trying to correct him. I did. Don't disrespect me. I did. What you gonna do about it? If that goes on in that family, it should have stayed in the family, is my opinion. There's no reason for us to be hearing it. This damn internet, I mean, I know it's done a lot of good things for the world, but it's caused some additional problems too. You can go on there and instantly, within seconds, broadcast that man's voice all over the United States. Mm-hmm. We are his nieces and nephews. We are his nieces. Who, Jenna? Let me see. Natasha, he told Kirk, shut the fuck. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Jenna, we are. Oh, you are my nieces and nephews. I'm my uncle. Okay, that's a place of honor. The Bible say, honor your mother and father, and all your days will be long. Okay. But that's definitely, I mean, you don't want to, as a rule, you don't want to curse your parents. But there's no rules to say your parents can't curse you. You see, it does not say honor your son and your daughter. Back in them days, I think everybody in the household was under the father. The father like owned them. His wife was a little bit more than a sheep. He was his property, and so were his kids. Take things in context. I think the world's becoming less religious, though, even among us Black people. We're becoming less and less religious. We're realizing, although I would imagine that people, when they're raising their young children, they probably want to keep them near the cross, keep them near the church, kind of thing, because the church helps, right? The church helps in trying to teach them some values, some morals. But as they become adults, I think it's becoming less. We're becoming a less religious country. The saints. Hello, saints. Behind the throne. Yeah, that stuff starts. You start naming people. I think that gets into your ego much more than I want to be. You know, look at my lips. They won't mess up. It could be just my lighting too, but I want to look sexy. I want to be sexy. Pope fall in love with me. Anyway, let's see what y'all got to say. Okay. Behind the throne, I did. Behind the throne, okay, I did, and I listen closer. You can hear, girl. He didn't say nearly enough. They're making way too big a deal out of this because they're gonna show us one line. What was it? One line you can barely hear, and then another line you can hear a little bit better. I mean, that wasn't nothing, honey. My mother used to cuss me out for 45 minutes. I'd rather her knock the shit out of me than cuss me out, honey, because the cussing went on, and then she would go in her bedroom. You would hear her cussing all through the goddamn night. Talking to her, say, nobody never heard. That wasn't no cussing out. Shit. I'm sure the boy laughed at him and hung up on him. I hope he remembers that on a rent day when he's falling short again. Oh, come on. I just need just a little bit more help. I'm your son. I'm your son. Get a job, honey. Get your ass a job. Figure it out. I agree with you, C. CeeLo QC. Let me say that I don't see anything wrong. He's a 33-year-old man, not a 13-year-old impressionable child. Parents are allowed to be frustrated and vent, especially with the child is on BS. Exactly. It's not one grown man talking to another grown man. If you respect me, I'll respect you. Right? It's like, I'm sure that the boy, he's only showing us what Kirk said. What did he say? What did he say that made the man so angry that he had to snap off? He didn't show that part. They never do. Let's not leave anything out simply because one scripture fits. Kirk is still right in this case. Right. Honor thy mother and thy father, yes, but don't be out there provoking and mistreating your child, though. Let's not leave anything out simply because one scripture fits. Right. There's a scripture for everything in there, honey. Whatever you want. You want to go out and kill people? There are scriptures in there. Remember how violent the Bible is now. Remember? I mean, the Bible, they got people slicing people's heads off, conquering nations. Not to mention all the we see, whatever. America's obsessed with the sexual stuff. But think about how much killing was done there then. They don't even talk about. We never hear a sermon about murder here. Here we got more murders than anybody in the world, but they don't talk about that. No. We talk about the cuss word. The Bible is full of violence. I mean, unspeakable sin. You can pull good things out of the Bible. I mean, there are things that scripture that you like. Honor thy mother and thy father. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's beautiful. Whether it came down from the heavens, girl, it don't have to come down from the heavens. It could just be the right thing to do. Oh, hello, Gamage Carter. Sexy is your lane. Okay. Sexy is your lane. Okay. This tape was from, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. And that's news. This tape was from 2018. So freaking what? Who on this live is perfect? From 2018. Now that's news. You just made news, Lisa. I thought the shit happened this weekend. You got to be kidding me. He used an old tape he had been saving. The first time I heard that, I assumed this happened this weekend. So he wasn't 33. So maybe he was 30 when it happened. Not that makes any difference. Y'all say hello, Gammy Carter. Hey, what's wrong? Come on back, security. Giddy bitty. Giddy ball. How that boy do? Giddy bitty. Giddy bitty giddy. Come here over here. Giddy don't. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's a different opinion. It says that it's from very recent. I mean, why would they be broadcasting old tapes? Although what he can cuss him out at 18, he can cuss him out in 17, 16, whatever the hell he wants to. He was having a private damn, is anything private? I mean, is this man allowed to go and take a dump? Is anything private? Jesus Christ. I like cussing myself. I mean, people don't do any cussing. I tend to find them very square or boring. For a while there, YouTube had everybody so scared to use a cuss word. They spent their whole lives saying, no cuss word, or don't say a cuss word. Then they finally figure out, oh, they don't care about our cuss words, honey. They just don't want us to cuss every line. But people cuss. What's wrong with the truth, people? That's the language people use. Online and offline. Yep. Squinty gonna scratch a hole in my duvet. I don't know what he's scratching for. I think sometimes he gets his toys or something underneath the cover, and then he'd be trying to pull it out from the top. Okay, Lisa. No, 2018. He just put it out today. Okay. I don't know that it makes any difference. Not really. He could cuss him out in 18 and 21. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think anything good is gonna come out of it for this kid though. They all cuss, so they gonna all forgive Kirk for saying colorful language. I mean, pretty much you can catch anybody. If they think they're having a private conversation, you can catch anybody cussing. So he ain't did nothing wrong. I don't see. They're going to have more sympathy for Kirk Franklin because he has to go through something. Okay, here's a burden we didn't know about. Your child, your adult child is a burden. Hope it wasn't like that, all through his coming up, where he's got this problem child he's got to take to psychiatrists and shit. It's too bad he's a good-looking guy. I don't know what his talents or his abilities are, but he needs to turn his focus off his father and onto himself and take responsibility. And yeah, there might be some rough years, honey. But you know what? Say to yourself, what's his name? Carry on. You know what? I made it 3 months and I haven't asked my father for anything. You can take pride in that. Yes, my refrigerator is empty. Yes, I barely made the rent, but I didn't ask for anything. And it gets easier because you can't be 40 and 50 still asking your parents for money, right? That's what them rich white people got to go through. Them kids 60 years old and still expecting, and sometimes go and murder them. Get the insurance money. He's a musician, not a pastor. Yeah, I don't even know why he's even held to a standard at all. Pastors cuss too. I can give testimony. Christians are not supposed to be doormats. Even Jesus wasn't a doormat. He tore up the temple and went in on everybody, but Kirk can't check his grown son. Yeah, okay, catch these hands. Jesus, catch these hands. Jesus went there whooping some ass, huh? Right. You're there selling blankets and junk all up in the temple. Have some respect, is what he was saying. Respect my father's house. A den of thieves, crooks, YouTubers. Okay. Even Kirk's daughter came out and said the son provoked everything and was just an all-around problem child. Yeah, I could tell by the smirk on his face that he was a problem child. He took pleasure in it. He laughed when the man was out of control. He thought it was funny. And he was edging him on. You don't ever disrespect me, mother. Whatever. Then he says, I did. I did. That's how you talk to your father, huh? Excuse me, people. Pastors do cuss. Yes, they cuss. Foot up the ass. I don't know if that's cussing. Where do we get that foot up the ass? People always say that. I'll put my foot up your ass. My mother's favorite thing was she wanted to knock my head off. She wanted to knock it off my shoulders. That was the threat, Let me see. Okay, let's cuss then. Y'all know I ain't got no problem with it, honey. I've seen real sin, honey. My eyes have seen real evil. I ain't worried about no cuss word. And it's just a word anyway. I mean, before it was a big deal when Weezy said, damn, damn, damn. They said, oh my God, she said it 3 times. I can't believe it. They wouldn't show Lucy and Ricky in the same bed. They had to have separate beds. Times changed, people. People realize all this stuff. It's not important. We just made it important. A word. Bad. Ooh, it's bad. What does it do? Does it hurt? What's it going to do to somebody? No bad word. It's just a word, child. I have the beehive. Okay. Okay, beehive. Now, who was the beehive? Is that Beyonce? Ooh. Deborah, I hope you're not listening in. Deborah Mitchell. I would love to have separate beds with my spouse. Some of them got separate rooms, honey. I just think I don't think I ever disrespect. I never cussed her out or anything like that. I never said. I don't think I ever said bad words to my mother. How did I disrespect her? I disrespect her by stealing money out of her pocketbook. If you want to call that disrespect, boy, she had her hands full with me for a while. I mean, as a 12, 13-year-old kid, I was terrible. Terrible. Stayed in some mess. Suspended from school. Caught down at the mall stealing. And on top of that, she had to know deep down that I was a queen. But we okay now, you know. I ain't been in no trouble in a long, long, long time. I just thank God my two daughters never disrespected me and was a single parent of two. But wait, I am not famous, so it don't matter, period. Well, it may be a little different in celebrity homes. I think the big problem with celebrity homes are the parents, when they have successful careers, are probably spending an awful lot of time away from home, right? So they may be paying the bills, but they're probably not there very much. Is my guess. And even people in corporate career type jobs, a lot of times you think they have the perfect family, and in many ways the family is perfect. There's a mother and a father and 1.2.3 kids or whatever. But a lot of times, to support the lifestyle that they have, you know, the father could be working a lot. I mean, not 8 hours a day, more like 12, 14, 16 hours a day. That seems to be the biggest problem with people who are successful. They're always complaining about the amount of time. The wife is always, but you marry some man and you barely see him. You see him on the weekend. He comes in late. He's tired. He goes to sleep, kind of thing. You don't know if he's cheating or whatever. So, I mean, it's not, nothing is the grass always appears to be greener on the other side. It's not necessarily so, is what I'm saying. Right? You imagine somebody like, I don't know, just off the top of my head, a Bill Gates, somebody, these people who run these multi-conglomerates. I'm sure that they don't have a lot of time to be in the backyard playing basketball with their kids, you know. So they have resentments and things. Anyway, I didn't think I'd speak on this. I don't have any kids, but I was a kid, you know. I had that experience. That boy is grown. That boy is grown. You're saying grown. I understand some of you guys are on cell phones. Anyone who doesn't understand Kirk Franklin's response to his son is because they have no kids. Okay. That okay, Gregory, I got to repeat that one. That boy is grown. Okay. Anybody who doesn't understand Kirk Franklin's response to his son is because they have no kids. I love my three sons, but kids can be challenging and a piece of work. And you're charged of trying to raise them. I mean, you don't want to just stick your kids out in the world. You want them to learn, honey. I'm sure he wants his son to be self-sufficient. But at some point, you got to become self-sufficient. Like the analogy of the bird. You got to push him out there and let him fly. Right? You still are very needy concerning your parents at 33. I mean, 30. I mean, you're supposed to have your own kids now. You're supposed to have your own family. I mean, I don't know. I assume the boy's straight or whatever. But it's still, I mean, he's supposed to be developing his own career. Not so much emphasis, I'm Kirk Franklin's son. I'm entitled to such and such because I'm his son. But at some point, you stop being just his son. You start being a man. And yes, I'm sure it is scary. It's scary out there because your father is Kirk Franklin. What are you doing? What do you do for a living? I'm sure it's hard to be Kirk Franklin's son and go out and apply for a job in the supermarket. I'm sure that's hard. You ain't gonna be there forever, right? I mean, poor people, in a way, they have it better because, at least with this kind of situation, because they ain't got no choice. They have to get out there. They have to hustle. They have to work, you know. Remember when Creflo Dollar slapped his daughter for breaking curfew and was talking shit to him about it. Then she called him police on him. She had him arrested. What a mess. That was a mess. We will repeat that one. Vintage. Remember when Creflo Dollar slapped his daughter for breaking curfew? And that's a physical. And this girl, she went and called the police on him and talking shit to him about it. She had him arrested. Was that a mess? Your father is is Creflo Dollar. You didn't expose him for being abusive, and you didn't call the police on his ass. And we all know what they call PKs, preachers' kids, who run amok. They rebel against their parents, so they are more hellish than people who were raised in regular, non-religious homes, because they're rebelling. They are super freaks. They're super freaking out. Get your ass out of here. Girl, you don't get out of here. Fun off a momo. Girl, I can't say your last name. Fun Leo said, damn, how long are you going to stretch out this rant? I'm not ranting. We're discussing. Fun Leo. Okay, let me tell you. There you go. That'll hold that ass. We're just talking, girl. If you go live, you got to go for at least an hour. What's the point? Right? So we're just hearing your opinion. You don't have the opinion, Fran Lelo. You know, you don't got to say anything, and nobody is twisting your arm to be here. We don't hate you, but okay. I've asked myself many times the same thing of other YouTubers. How long are you going to stretch that out? Get to the juice. Get to the sauce. I enjoy the mess more than anything else, to tell you the truth. A lot of times when they are talking about when they are talking about all the celebrity stuff, I'm not really a follower of celebrity. I be wanting them to get to the mess. It went off on anybody today? I enjoy the mess. Kirk. Like she did Gail go off on Kirk? I was not going to touch the story, but it hung around for a couple of days, you know. You talk about what's going on. I remember what Gladys Knight's son did to her. I don't remember that one. Didn't it involve some kind of restaurant, though, with Gladys Knight's son? A lot of these kids, they're angry. They got parents that were on the road for 11 months out of every year. I mean, they barely know these people. So maybe they're crying out for attention. Right? But they ain't gonna be that way forever. Your career might be hot for 5-10 years. But unfortunately, that's the whole child's, his whole teenager years, whatever. These are rich people problems. Rich folks problem. Daddy ain't home. Well, poor people problem. Daddy ain't got no damn daddy. Hi, Elaine. Okay. Shaka Khan's son too. I bet he probably got some issues because the mom had issues. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of these celebrities, they're probably not very good parents because their focus is on their careers, and their careers keep them away from home. So I'd imagine if you're a female singer, then probably your husband or the man you're with or a relative is actually taking care of your kids because you're gone most of the time. You can't take your whole family on the road with you, I wouldn't imagine. So problems are going to come up. But we're giving Kirion a F on this one. And we're giving Kirk a B. I don't know why I would give him an A, but I think, more politically correct to say B because he used the words. But I'm sure he's fed up with that child. You going in and out of therapy with a grown-ass man? I can only imagine. I ain't got no problem with cussing. I never did. I enjoy cussing, honey. I enjoy language. Now, I don't have the kind of vocabulary I would like to have. And so many times cuss words are just fillers. I don't have all the words, but you understand, fuck you, right? I'm just using it as an example. That kind of cuts to it. That cuts to it across all economic every race, every economic situation. Fuck you still has meaning. It still works. It's a word, honey. It's a word that conveys something. And I think people usually understand it after that. Somebody was trashing my picture, Lila? I don't mind this red. I prefer this. What about cheap YouTube trash boxes? Roxbury, you calling them trash boxes today, not me. Excuse me. We're doing it, Kurt. Oh, okay. All right, people. They said stop ranting about the same shit for an hour and a half. Okay, it's good. I'm glad you guys came in. So we're giving Kirk Franklin a B because he used colorful language. Although I would personally probably give him an A. I think it's fine. It's normal. It's just regular. And then carry on. We're giving you an F. We're giving you an F. You should not have done this to your father or your mother. You got a problem with your father, work it out with your father. You can't work it out, don't speak for a while. All right, you guys. Later.